Okay, so we're here in Jerusalem, and we're going to be filming. I'm mainly trying to careful behind you. Don't fall. I'm mainly trying to find ultra-Orthodox people, Haredi people. So the film person, the guy holding the camera, is going to help me because he is a former Haredi person.
Yeah. Ex-Haredi, if you will.
Ex-Haredi,
if you will.
Can you explain that? What?
Ex is in, she's my ex, he's my ex.
No, I get that, but why are you no longer Haredi? Talk about that?
Yeah, no doubt. I grew up Haredi because my parents were Haredi, and I didn't really have a choice at any point of. As a kid, you grow up to be whatever your parents make you become to be, and then when I started thinking for myself and asking questions, and growing up a bit, I came to understand that the Haredi belief system is flawed. It's flawed in so many ways. And even if it wasn't flawed, different groups of people around the world have flawed belief systems. I don't mind it usually too much. But when your belief system is supposed to somehow affect other people and somehow make you above other people and somehow make you entitled to money or being violent towards others or being rude, etc., etc. Even people being rude towards people
Other
from
Jews.
within your own group, within the Haredi community.
Even the Haredi themselves.
Like my family, for example, my sister, she had trouble in religion, you might say, and
What does that mean?
she wasn't that religious at points, and she turned out to be not religious eventually. But even when we were Haredi in a Haredi neighborhood, and she was thinking about it, checking things out. I was completely Haredi at the time, and the Haredi, I don't know, something in the neighborhood threw a garbage into our backyard.
Because she is not religious the way they think she should be.
Yeah, exactly. And they thought we should be out of the neighborhood because she's somehow bad influence. I don't know what that means, right? And then because they wanted us out, and we obviously didn't want to move out just because a bunch of, I don't know, no one know who's wanted us out. I'm not gonna, So they decided to move on to physical and other means.
What are the other means? Sorry.
I don't know. They threw not stones, but small rocks at our door.
Did anyone actually hit somebody?
I don't think they got that violent.
Okay.
But just sending the message of we don't want you here for those reasons in those ways is for me unacceptable, and it shows a method. It shows a line of thinking,
a mindset,
mindset, exactly, a worldview which is not at all appropriate for anyone, let alone the people who should be or lagoim, light to the nations. Right?
So, are you still close to your family?
I am very close to my
and they're
family,
okay with you being. They're probably not happy that you're not religious, but
along the years, most of my family became not Haredi anymore as well. Some of us are religious, some of us are secular. My father is still Haredi, but we're fine. We learn to respect everyone.
I have friends like that too, from my generation. Who, yes, as long as there's mutual respect, I think it's okay.
Thank God. Right.
Okay, so here, I just wanted to get a little background about you. I thought that's interesting. So these are the questions, and just for the viewer, every time I go out, I bring a set of questions. So in this case, they're for this area, and I sometimes mark how many I need.
Should I?
Nah, it doesn't matter. And so these are meant for anybody. So anybody, Jewish or Arab, actually, doesn't really matter. And then I have a whole section here for religious people. And in my head today, we're going for Haredi people because I've asked a lot of national religious and semi-Haredi-ish people, but I want to be, this is hardcore. Let's go to hardcore and ask them. And I'm going to ask about two of each question to people. Sometimes if somebody, to explain to you also, if somebody I'll ask one question, and if somebody seems to give a good answer, and by a good answer I mean it's thoughtful, it could be very extreme, or it could be very nice, doesn't really matter, but it's thoughtful and well thought out, then usually I'll ask them another question if they'll allow it. If the answer they give is kind of nothing, and you could tell they're just kind of like, they're just trying to blow me off, then I'll be like, okay, that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
Questions? It's the first time we're meeting. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't know, not anything that comes to mind right now.
Okay. If you think of anything.
I'm just down to start doing it.
Okay, cool. So where are we gonna go?
Wait,
Before
before we go, should we, like, if you have something like language issues, should I step in?
Yeah, you absolutely should. First of all, anyone who comes to film with me, if I ask the question, I'll give a question. Is God the same God for the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians? If you think I didn't phrase it right, jump in. Not a problem, because particularly with Haredi or very religious people, I say things like Elohim, and I forget that you're not supposed to say Elohim, you're supposed to say Elokim. There's all these taboos that I forget about. I'm a goy. I'm actually Jewish, but it doesn't matter. But I have a friend who's a rabbi who constantly hits me and goes, stop saying that.
Stop saying this and that and
You're
that.
saying the wrong thing. You're saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So he steps in, and then anytime I ask a question, if you think asking a follow-up question is a good idea, go for it. Just go for it.
So just go with the flow.
Go with it. Say anything you want from your perspective. It's
right.
okay. Anything you think people would be interested in. That's it.
I feel. Are you going to wear a camera as well?
Oh yeah. I have my camera here. I have my other camera.
Alright, we can go down Jaffa Street. We can go to the Haredi neighborhood.
Let's go to the Haredi neighborhood.
Yeah. Alright, let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
I'm gonna turn off the camera now.
You can turn it off. אני עושה פרויקט ביוטיוב, באינטרנט, שאני שואל שאלה, מצלם בתשובה. אפשר לשאול אותך שאלה? זה לאנשים בחוץ. זה קצר, בסדר.
ויהיה בסדר לצלם אותך?
לא, אפשר באנגלית? Excellent. Okay. What's your name? First name? Yossi? And where do you live? Okay. When people say God, Elohim, Allah, Muslims, Christians, Jews, is it the same God they're talking about?
Hey Corey.
Yeah.
Why do you do this? Why do you go around asking people these questions and on film?
It's great fun. I think it's interesting to hear what people have to say. And I kind of think, well, at least I think I know what they're going to say, what the answers are going to be. I'm sometimes surprised. But the idea is that people outside of here don't know. And what I think is interesting is that there's a lot of people who think they know something about Jews or Palestinians or Israelis and what's going on here. And then they see the videos and they go, really, that's what these people think? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm used to it because I live here. But and I get tired of explaining that to people, and they don't believe me. So here you get to just hear it from people, and it's just random people. You get a cross-section of views, and I always feel like it's really missing the leaders, the politicians. They don't explain this. The media doesn't, because the media comes in, I think, with their own views. I don't even want to say agenda, but their own views anyways, their own world views. And so I think it's important to hear what the people think. And it's really a lot of fun. It's fun to ask people questions.
So, I'll think out to phrase this question because it's kind of a complicated one.
Go ahead.
In your opinion, according to your opinion, I don't know, if you were to pick up the most average person out of Israel, so Canadian, I don't know, Indian, whatever, Uzbekistanian, and ask them some facts about Israel, some facts about how people in Israel think, etc. How wrong do you think they are probably going to be?
You mean people outside we're talking about, obviously. Like 98% wrong. They just get it really, really wrong. And that includes the Jews and about Israelis and the Arabs outside about Palestinians. Well, less so probably. But from my experience, people, and from the types of questions that I get, you could see how they really don't understand what's going on here.
Wow.
I mean, in broad strokes, of course, it's about land, it's about religion.
It's about 98% of the questions?
I mean, look, I'm ultra picky, right? When people get it a little bit wrong, I'm like, no, you have it completely wrong. And I get, like, I'm a little bit, I'm a little on the spectrum about that I pick on nuances of how you got it wrong.
Right.
But so they probably would think, okay, Corey, you're being crazy. Like, that's wherever you think you should go. Let's go this way. But yeah, they really get a lot of the motivations wrong. a lot of the concepts they get wrong, because everyone is seeing this conflict through their own worldview, through their own, or what they think they know about it. So they see the media and they translate it through how the media portrays it. And the media
Do you think the media is the main part of the issue?
I know people say like the media is, has an agenda. I don't think it's that. I actually think the media are just people, and they come in with their own way of seeing it. So they project it onto people, and they tell a story which doesn't really exist. I'll give you a good example. So the latest thing in the media is about the COVID vaccines. So the world media is obsessed that Israel isn't sharing COVID vaccines with Palestinians, which I absolutely agree with. We absolutely should be sharing COVID vaccines with Palestinians. You speak to Palestinians, they don't know about this. They don't think Israel should be sharing COVID vaccines. They'll probably take it if they got it, but this isn't an issue for Palestinians in the sense of they're talking about it. It's the world media talking about it. Now, they're right about it. I think they're right. It's the moral thing to do is to give others vaccines.
When you have extra, or even if, or as equal opportunities.
Yes, exactly. We're all kind of within the same sort of system. Not exactly, but we're related, and there is some interaction.
When you say Palestinians, you don't mean Israeli Arabs?
No, I mean, no. Israeli Arabs are
right. They're civilians just as
absolutely.
Right.
So are Palestinian workers, by the way, even though it took them longer to get it. I'm talking about the person who lives in Ramallah and in Hebron and in Nablus. They don't have equal access, or they don't have access to vaccines at the moment. This is in the world. It's another reason to go look Israel. Look how bad you're being, which they're right. It's not that they're wrong. This isn't something Palestinians talk about at all. Period. It's not on their agenda.
I'm not sure if it's the type of content you want on the video, but
go ahead.
I'll just let me challenge that. Why do you feel Palestinians should get, or it's the moral right thing from us Israelis to give to Palestinians, or to sell to Palestinians, or I don't know, or try to help
not
them.
Sell. There's no okay. There's three reasons. First of all, it's just the moral thing to do.
Why?
Because first of all, they're our neighbors, and we whether we like it or not, we have to live with them in peace. Okay. So just like you have a neighbor next door, and they know that they're hungry.
There's a difference between a moral and saying it's in my interest because they're my neighbor. If you say they're my neighbor, then it's in my interest. It's different than saying it's morally, I don't know, ethically.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm saying okay, so there are four reasons. Moral, it's in my interest because we're neighbors in a sense, like we have to live together, whether we like it or not. They do come in here, so we're kind of one fabric in that sense. Even though there is a huge division, there's separation between Palestinians and Israelis. Most Palestinians never come into Israel. Israelis never go to Palestinian areas. There's always a few who do, whether it's the workers or just people who sneak in. So there are a lot of illegal workers who work in Israel. And I don't know if they're getting it the same way a legal worker would. I don't know. I suspect they are, actually, because I've heard of stories of Palestinians going to Kalandia to get the vaccine. Kalandia is the checkpoint between Jerusalem and Ramallah. And just going, and they're not workers, they don't have any papers to prove they just got the vaccine. So I know it can happen. And then fourth, and to do the right thing, to create better feelings among Palestinians. It's a nice thing to do. It's a symbolic thing to do. And actually, in a way, most importantly for the pro-Israel, the stupid thing about Israelis and Israeli a way of dealing with things is they're not proactive. This, obviously, when this whole vaccine thing came up, they should have planned to give Palestinians, even symbolically, 30,000, 40,000 vaccines for older people or for healthcare workers. They should have done that and done it publicly and doing it even as a marketing, even as propaganda. Fine. They should have done that. And instead, what happens is, of course, the world media focuses on the idea that Israel isn't sharing their vaccines with the Palestinians. And it's apartheid, and it's racism, and blah, blah, blah. You could have head this off in the first place and said, here, we're giving 40,000 vaccines from the beginning.
Just to have the headlines go your way, not the other way.
Because we're dumb. You think we would know this by now. The smart Jews, you think we would know this. That the first person to make a move, that's what gets focused on in the media. So the fact that everyone's focusing on the fact that Israel isn't giving vaccines, it's a negative story about Israel. We could have headed off by doing a positive story about Israel. Even if for a cynical reason, which I don't like, cynical reason of showing, look how good we are. We're wonderful. We give vaccines.
Right. So we could have avoided the all bad media by just saying, but just
Conflict
giving a few
prevention.
thousand. We could have avoided the bad stuff by just giving a few thousand vaccines, and we could have had good coverage by giving a few extra.
Now, of course,
vaccines.
some people would say you're not giving enough, and some people, but whatever. We did it, and in the overly simplistic mind of a person in Ireland or Canada, too young. I was going to ask him. He's too young. They're going to remember, even if it's mixed, they're going to remember something positive about Israel.
Right. So you said that the all the benefits in giving. But obviously there are downsides to giving as well.
What? Like
we obviously, and when I say we, I mean the Israeli government, the army, the Shabak, the intelligence agency, right? Etc. People worked really, really hard using hard-earned tax money. Who obviously not Palestinians paid to the Israeli government to get those vaccines. Given this. All this effort, not all, but some of this effort away as a gift is sensible in some ways, but there are downsides to this as well.
Meaning we're paying money. We're spending money on a group of people who didn't contribute to it.
Not only money, there are some soldiers who invested their time and their duty in the IDF, which they give as a contribution to the nation, to the country. They feel on a mission to do what they do, and then you take those things and decide. Their effort should go towards Palestinians. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying maybe they didn't intend for that to go that direction.
Yeah, but if we're so I would. First of all, I think it's just the right thing to do, and B, if we talk about as Jews, Or LaGoyim, we were a light onto the nations. Okay, we should act like it. That is a way to act like it. That's what I would say. I don't think we are a light onto the nations. I don't think anyone is a light onto anyone. I think people act for selfish reasons all the time.
And
but I think it's better to do something for others.
And where would you draw the line between not giving enough and giving too much?
Well, I don't think I would say if there are 90-year-olds who still haven't received the vaccine that we're going to give 50-year-olds who are Palestinian. I think you could draw a line, but we have enough. Everyone who wants to get the vaccine here, there's enough.
Right.
We're in a good situation compared to most countries.
Absolutely. So you're saying the question of where do you draw the line is open for negotiation, maybe, but giving some even small amount is, in your opinion,
yes. I would actually, if we could, I would vaccinate all of them. I would do symbolic. That's me personally. But I understand. A country has its own people interests. The Palestinians are not Israelis. They don't pay taxes. It's not because they're not Jews. It's also because they don't pay any taxes. They're not their constituents. They have
culturally, they're not.
Culturally, they're very different.
They have nothing to do with it.
We don't live in a system where we're all under one body.
Right.
So until that happens, then.
Right. I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, English. Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do not. Where do you live?
Mark?
Okay. For how long have you been here?
About a year? 6 months?
Okay, I can't ask you. I do a YouTube channel asking questions, but there gotta be people who live here. It's okay. Recording?
Yo, Corey, can you see when the bus goes by? Can you see this extremely, and I'm gonna put it in weird terms, Jewishly dressed people over there in the bus station?
So we're gonna go ask them. Because a lot of people, I know visually, they think these people are like the real Jews. Look, they're obviously Jews, but they're a small minority here. What are they, 10%?
What, Hasidic?
Yeah,
Hasidic. Haredim are, I don't know, maybe 10, 15% of the
something
population.
Like that. Yeah, so it's a small percentage. And do you think you used to be these people?
but and also within the Haredim there are a few branches, and only one branch of Haredim are dressed in those type of clothes.
That's true.
So
and they don't necessarily have a better answer. There's a perception, and I have this too, that they're going to know more about Judaism. Do you think that's true? You used to be one of those.
No, they usually know more about their own very specific type of group of people, their own specific, I don't know how to put it in terms.
Sect,
I guess.
So what are they, by the way? I have no clue.
So one is Hasidic, obviously. The rest of them are simply Taim, and maybe. Okay,
Taim?
so there is the guy in the weird. Yeah. So there is the guy in the very weird. Yeah. this is Hasidish,
Okay.
and then there is the guy in a suit and white shirt and just normal, halfway normal hat. He's Lithuanian.
Okay.
And then there is the guy in white shirt, black pants, and no suit, who is probably Sephardi.
See,
So,
he can distinguish. I cannot.
Be careful.
I could tell by what they look like, facial features, if they're Sephardi or Ashkenazi, but that's about it. Okay, so let's try and ask them. Although it's
yeah,
really
let's do
hot.
that.
We'll try the guy in the hat. היי, אפשר לשאול אותך שאלה? אני עושה פרויקט באינטרנט שאני שואל שאלה, מצלם התשובה. על יהדות. לא? לא בשבילך? אתה רוצה אולי? אפשר? אני אשאל אותך. מאיפה אתה? פה?
אני חייב לי הרבה זמן, אני הולך לשיעור עוד כמה דקות.
אני 30 שניות.
כן.
30 שניות.
כן.
אוקיי. לפי יהדות, מה הגבולות של ארץ ישראל? אוקיי.
Yo, Corey, that's funny. I just asked you that, but I'll ask you again on film.
go ahead.
Did you ever get people you approach to be very not nice or even violent towards you?
Okay, very not nice. I get that from everybody because people feel very threatened. That's common. I get it from all the sectors, all the different. Violent, I've had from not from Haredim, not from these people, because that's the perception. People would just kind of be like rude and just walk away. From a couple of secular Israelis who thought I was very, very far left or trying to make Israel look bad, I've gotten threats of being beaten up. So one guy came back, I think I told this somewhere else, and he thought I was talking about him. I was talking about him, but not in the way that he thinks. And he said, you know, I could take you back here and beat you up. I could beat the shit out of you. And,
wow.
And I'm so, like, I am not smart. So I ignored it and just kind of went, yeah, okay, but, and then I went on with what I was saying. And then he wrote me an email the next day and said, I checked out your channel. Here are my ideas for your channel.
That's nice.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
אפשר לשאול אותך שאלה? אני עושה פרויקט שאני שואל שאלה, מצלם התשובה, אני צריך נשים חרדיות. לא בשבילך? בסדר. ג'ינג'י. סליחה.
הצדיקה ג'ינג'י, מה נשמע? אפשר לשאול אותך שאלה אולי? תודה.
קצת, לא?
קצת ממהר.
אוקיי. סליחה, אפשר? אני עושה פרויקט שאני שואל שאלה, מצלם התשובה, אפשר לשאול אותה? זה לא קשה.
בסדר גמור.
זה על יהדות לאנשים בחו"ל שהם לא מבינים. אתה צריך להסביר. אוקיי. מי כתב את התנ"ך? אני? רק שם פרטי. בעברית.
אני יודעת, אבל זה לא מספיק
לא,
בשביל
בסדר,
שיבינו.
לא צריך. אוקיי, זו שאלה. האם... אם את מרגישה סוג ב' בחברה חרדית, בתור אישה, צריך לעבוד. הנה, מה, בגלל האור. אף פעם, אני עושה... מה? Oh, who's the audience? People outside mostly non-Jews. Mostly. What's your first name? And you live here in Jerusalem? Okay. Why is it so difficult to convert to Judaism?
Do you want to go ask them maybe?
Yeah, there.
Okay, so I'll turn off the
Yeah.
turn down the camera for a few seconds. To let them-
However you want to do. So we're in Mea Sha'arim, and there are Palestinian flags because they're anti-Zionist. And I'm actually asking some questions about anti-Zionism and who the land belongs to. Am I phrasing that right, by the way?
In Hebrew or in English?
In Hebrew.
I
English,
don't
right.
remember. I don't remember well.
של מי האדמה הזאת? של מי?
כן.
שמדינה יהודית. של מי האדמה הזאת? מי אבל של מי האדמה? היא בעלות.
אם הערבים רוצים את זה, שיקחו את זה. אוקיי.
עד מתי?
עד ביאת המשיח.
אוקיי. אז מה קורה עם הפלסטינים? מה קורה עם הערבים?
אני לא יודע מה יהיה ביאת המשיח. אני לא יודע.